I'd like to start out with a shout out to Zach Milne Talks Movies. He's been a YouTuber that's been supporting me for a while, and he's just hit it big, so congratulations, buddy. Anyway, my channel has been dead for a little bit. I'm bringing it back. I've just, life and stuff, but hey, Zach, you might have, some proper competition coming here soon. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. This will be my review of the new Superman movie, which I just saw. So, Superman, what are my thoughts on it? Well, I gotta say, like it or hate it, this movie is entertaining. I mean, if you had to take a comic book and slap it on a screen, this is what this movie would be. Now, personally, I'm on the love it side. I thought it was incredible. There are a few flaws with it, nothing major, nothing that ruins the movie, just a couple here and there. A few things I should warn you: if you are really, really used to the more traditional Superman, there are just a few slight changes, which I honestly think helps the story to give you a new, fresh look on the character. But it doesn't change anything about the character himself. He's still the Superman that we all know and we all love. Honestly, I think David Cornsweet did a incredible interpretation of Superman, and I am excited to see where James Gunn takes this franchise in the future. Now we're going to talk about cons with the film, and honestly, there's not a whole lot. I'd say my biggest con with the whole movie, from start to finish, was the pacing. It is both a good thing and a bad thing, kind of a double-edged sword with this one. The good part about it is you get a lot in this movie. I mean, a whole ton of stuff thrown at you. The bad part is, it doesn't tend to linger on anything specific for too long. You're jumping to the next thing before you know the first one's over. And it does give you kind of a look into Superman's life, because that is what he has to deal with daily. He has to save the civilians, stop the big monsters, stop the other threats. He's got to try and juggle the entire world, which I do think does really help. But if you are just an average fan or someone who hasn't read the comics, you might be a little bit lost. Watching it, if you watch it a second time, I guarantee it'll be a whole lot smoother than the first time. But this movie is a very fast-paced movie. From start to finish, it's bam, 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 bam. And like I said, it doesn't really linger, but that's the only con, and it doesn't ruin anything, and it doesn't ruin the movie. I would recommend, personally, watching the first ever Superman cartoon. It's like 10 minutes on YouTube if you're not familiarized with the character. And if you want a more than 10 minutes, I would recommend watching the original Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve. Those two will definitely set the tone for this film for you, so you know what to expect.
Up in the sky, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Now let's hop on the pros for this movie. And by golly, there's a lot of them. First pro with the movie is, as I mentioned earlier, David Cornsweet's portrayal of Superman is beautiful. I think he nailed it. You don't really get a lot of Clark Kent in here. That is a little bit of a con. I mean, he's in it for like 45 seconds, so you don't get to see David Cornsweet as Clark Kent as much. But his Superman alone is incredible. He embodied the character perfectly. I'd still say, personally, my favorite Superman is Christopher Reeve. That's the one I grew up with. That's my number one. But David Cornsweet did an incredible job. And as I said before, I'm super excited to see where his character goes, because he just absolutely nailed it. Another thing is the other heroes in this. Besides Hawkgirl, who didn't get a whole lot of screen time, all the other heroes are fun, and I can't wait to see them in the future as well. Lex Luthor's portrayal, I know that's been a very controversial thing. I really liked it. I do feel like he monologues a bit much in this movie. You're going to notice, like, anytime he's on screen, most likely he's going to be monologuing. And that does, throw a little bit off, because he spends more time monologuing than you do actually get to see him in action. But whenever you do see him, I think the portrayal is really good. I like it way better than the one we got before this with Batman and the Batman Superman movie. But with Jesse Eisenberg, that's who I was trying to remember. I like it better than Eisenberg's, but because I feel like he is more like the Lex Luthor from the comics, from even some past movies. I really liked it, and it's really just a toss up whether you love it or not. But it doesn't ruin the movie if you don't like it because he still gives a pretty good performance as the villain of the film. And it's nice to see a villain that they don't try to make you sympathize with. No, he's just bad because he's bad. And that's something fresh that Hollywood has been struggling with for a few years. A lot of the movies I see, you have to like feel something to see why the bad guy's doing what they're doing. There's never a reason that they're just bad to be bad. I love it whenever a bad guy's just bad to be bad because it's fun, you know. It just gives him like he is a villain. So and that's what he is. He wasn't like some misunderstood hero. We don't have to sympathize with him. We just gotta be like, yeah, this dude's a piece of crap. But you know, when it comes to comic book villains, they're a piece of crap that you love to see on screen. So it all fleshes out and works in the end. Now, one of my favorite parts of the entire film was Superman and Lois's dynamic. I can't wait to see their relationship in future movies. It's always something that, you know, really helps carry the film, and it's good to know that he has, you know, this love interest. And Lois is just so iconic. It's like impossible to mess her up unless you don't know the character and just make her a generic reporter. That's where I think Man of Steel really fell short, was their Lois interpretation. I wasn't a fan of it. And, you know, usually talking Superman movies, nobody really talks about Lois. I don't know why. I've seemed to notice that across a lot of review channels. Nobody seems to talk about her portrayal as much as the villain and the hero and stuff. It is does take sideline to that because she is still a side character. She's a main side character, but she is on the side because your main focus is hero and villain, not hero love interest villain. So people just tend to not look at it sometimes. I do think probably the worst comic book adaptation I ever seen was also in Batman Superman with Jimmy Olsen, who shows up to get shot, and that's it. Jimmy definitely beats that one by a mile, 100%. This Jimmy is very fun to see. I like how they kind of make him a ladies' man in this one, even though he like doesn't even try. And you know he's a dork, so it makes it even funnier that he's just like this weirdo that women find attractive for some reason. But it's all around it's all around a fun performance from him as well. Overall, the movie is incredibly fun to watch. So if you ever want to just turn something on and kind of like turn your brain off and just enjoy a film with where you like just a comic book film that you don't have to watch 30 other movies to get, this is one of those movies you can do that. You just pop it in and you can just sit back, relax, and have no worries. You didn't have to do any homework. You didn't have to watch anything before. You didn't have to watch anything after. Just let it fly. And like I said, this is a fast-paced movie. So even though it is, I think 2 hours and what 10 minutes, 20. I think it's 2 hours 10 minutes. It doesn't feel like that because you don't get that time to breathe, which does help the movie feel so much faster, which makes it very fun to watch. But overall, I would give this movie relatively a 8 out of 10. There are some places they could have done better, just story wise, and they just definitely need time to work through it. But an 8 out of 10 is not bad for kicking off a universe, and it is a very, like I said, a very fun, very engaging film. You will be enthralled the whole time. I really loved the visuals of it. Now, I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I love kind of that cartoony, comic-like visual that James Gunn brings. That's one of the reasons I love the Suicide Squad a whole lot, was the visuals of that film, just the way the colors are and how it makes you think, yeah, this is just a moving comic book. This movie has that, which I really appreciated and I really wanted to see. I didn't think I would get it until they announced that the Superman movie was happening. And whenever I heard that, I'm like, all right, so at least even if it is terrible, I'll get a Superman movie with that visual style that I like so much. So overall, like I said, 8 out of 10. It is not bad. It's actually really great. I loved it. And if you are wondering if it is better than Man of Steel, you'll have to watch my Superman movie ranking video, which I will be releasing right besides this. Like I said, I'm kicking off my channel again. It's been dead for a while. It's time to bring it back. But overall, pretty great experience. Now tell me your favorite comic book movie in the comments Tell me your favorite comic book movie within the comments, and please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Good night, everybody.